founding fathers of America did. We extracted from their heart the revelation of their truth and never gave them credit for it. Now, the Iroquois Confederacy became known, they would govern by a thing they would call the Longhouse. The Longhouse had a center place in the middle. It was divided up by two forms of government on each side. One of them was the Shechem, which would be translated as a senator, that originated from the Mohawk tribe. Women's right to vote was, now I understand, I don't know a lot about the Mi'kmaq people, but as I understand it, and I don't even know that I should get into this because I don't know that it really matters, but as I understand it, the Mi'kmaq tribes were really led by the fathers, by the men. In the Iroquois Confederacy, the women had a huge role and responsibility in the governance of the Confederacy. It was the women. If a man was not doing his job in the government, it was the women who could vote him out of office. All right. Amen. Now, we're not one to see everything restored. All right. Just a little bit. All right. So, but here's my point. I knew from my study, God was saying something. Now, here's what I want you to hear. Because 10 minutes when I said I was sitting over at the picnic table, I mentioned to somebody, you know, I was like, okay, church starts in 10 minutes and I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do. So here I am, but now I know. Because the Lord has made it clear I'm doing two things tonight. This is the first one. So we begin to know that the tree was given to the founding fathers by the First Nations people. We believe through my study. Now watch, here's what I'm going to do. Right now this seems like I don't really, how does this have to do with any place called Shubenacadie? It took me and Jennifer about 3 weeks to even figure out where we were coming. We didn't even know. But here's what I realized tonight. If things keep building in this place, now here's what the Spirit of God told me. He said, Ricky, if things were to really build and explode in this place, would you be willing to summon Jennifer to come here? What if the awakening that God wanted to begin in Canada was going to come through the eastern gate of Nova Scotia? Listen to me. What if it was not just a good idea? What if it was not just because we love Nova Scotia? What if it was because it was God's idea from the beginning? Here's what I know already. God's already shown me something. I cannot dare start going, ah, because the Anglicans are just going to go nuts in this. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this in a moment. Now, I want you to understand, I'm trying to take, right now I have 3 days of teaching. Charisma is trying to help me publish a book, rediscovering the roots of the fathers. Because the Lord said to me in that encounter I shared with you last night, it's only through the revelation of the heart of the Father that the fire of His holiness is going to be released. Listen to me. We don't need one more reconciliation service where we get everybody on board and we hug and kiss and hold hands and say, whoo, we're going to be better from here. We've done so much of that. But at the end of the day, we continue to treat each other and the land just like we were before. God's going to do something deeper in that right there. I'm just telling y'all right now. He had to pull a boy out of the mountains, out of the Appalachian Mountains of Kentucky to infuse in his heart a dream. And now He's brought me to the extreme northern tip of the mountain range of the Appalachians. And just like Ray Hughes prophesied at the gathering of the clans in Halifax, when Ray wanted me to come to the meeting with him, but I didn't come because I didn't even know where Halifax was. I'm still trying to find Alabama. So anyway, it drags me out of the mountains, and part of what Ray has said was that the wind of revival that is blowing in the Appalachian Mountains is going to blow into Nova Scotia, and the entire mountain range of the Appalachians will be ablaze with the glory of God. Now, I live in Pensacola, Florida. What in the world does that have to do with the Appalachian Mountains?
Nothing.
Real quick, let me tie that in. Did y'all know Pensacola, Florida has the whitest beaches in all the world? Did you know that? Honey, if you ain't never been to Pensacola Beach,
You gotta go.
you ain't never been to the beach.
That's right.
It's powdery, it's white as snow, and it's amazing. I've lived there for years. Don't care a hoot about swimming, but I love to shark fish. And I'll pull in a big old 190-pound bull shark, like we did a few weeks ago, cut him up into steaks and throw him on a grill right there on the beach. And eat like there ain't no tomorrow. Yeah. So I've lived there a long time. And I asked the people, why are the beaches? You know, sometimes there's something in your region that is unique. And you ask people from the region, why is it that way? Oh, how many of y'all been to Hawaii? Don't ever go to Hawaii just to see the beach, honey. You can save you a whole lot of money. Get to Pensacola. The beaches in Pensacola beat the beaches in Hawaii about 100 to 1. But look, here's the deal. Y'all think I'm kidding you, but look here. So I asked people, why, now listen, why are the beaches in Pensacola so powdery, so fine, so white? And then I had to get a university professor who actually told me. And he said, that is because, now watch this, from the extreme northern edge or end of the Appalachian Mountains, the iron and the minerals that run all the way down through the Appalachian Mountains spill into the Gulf of Mexico at Pensacola. And the iron and the minerals in the Appalachian Mountains bleach the sands of Pensacola white. There was an article in our newspaper the other day that said, when you walk on top of Pensacola Beach, it's like walking on top of the Appalachian Mountains. So I stand at the northern end. I live at the southern. And in between here and there, there's a fire burning in the mountains that has now seen over 6,000 high school and elementary school students running to the altar and getting radically saved. No. It's not an applause we're looking for. It's the surrendered heart that we're looking for. It began in 5 or 6 little elementary school girls that began to come under a burden in their service. The Regional Church of God in Williamson, West Virginia. They began to come under a burden for their little classmates. And the girls didn't know how they could ever win their school to Jesus. So one of them had an idea. They would fast their lunch meal every day. So a half a dozen little 6th grade girls began to fast the meal. Of course, if y'all saw what Obama's serving our kids in America, you'd be glad to fast that meal right there. All right? And we ain't going to get political tonight. Amen, Brother Rick. Get back online. Here's the deal right here. See, if I was down there right now, this whole place would go, whoa! That's right. But look, here's the deal. So after they had fasted a few days, one of them said, last night I had a dream. And we put a shoebox on the end of the table. And we cut a hole in the top. And we wrote on the side, prayer requests. Just set it there. It wasn't long till their classmates began to come by, drop little prayer requests in there. My daddy's on drugs. My mother's back in jail. My sister's gone. My brother got killed. My brother overdosed. And suddenly, these little girls' shoebox began to be filled with the burdens of a community. And they didn't know what to do with it. So the little girls then begin to meet after school, and they'd take the box one at a time, and I'm talking about 6th grade girls. And they began to pray for every need. And it wasn't long till elementary school teachers in that school began to text me pictures how kids begin to get saved in the classroom. Teachers begin to get saved in the classroom. The principal of the school took a half a dozen little girls and put them in the gym. He would let them rotate 2 by 2 throughout the day, missing class to sit in the gym so that kids that came under conviction in the classroom could get up, go to the gym, get saved, and come back to the classroom. You're not hearing what I'm saying tonight. You're not hearing what I'm saying tonight. And after that, now, well over 6,000 have come to Jesus. I was with a pastor that's leading the whole movement just about 2 weeks ago, and he said to me, Rick, you know what we need the most? And I said, no, what do you need, man? We'll go to the ends of the earth to get it. He said, you can't, because what we need the most is fathers.
Yes. Yes.
That's what we need. We need fathers and mothers. When I had this dream, I knew God was about to take me on a journey of a lifetime. I never knew it would bring me to a place called Shubenacadie.
Come on.
But listen to me. So I begin to study. I'm not going to go through the whole story. You'll thank me later for that. But I begin to study and I begin to realize the tree can only be tied to the First Nations. Did you know that the founding fathers of the United States voted unanimously to make this the flag of my nation? Long before the Stars and Stripes, the founding fathers wanted this to be the flag of the nation. The only reason it wasn't is because Massachusetts had laid early claim to it for their state. And they were unwilling to release it for a federal cause. It's always got to be Massachusetts. So the flag has been hidden for generations. I've been all over the United States. Not one time have I had somebody, school teachers, principals, superintendents, university professors. Nobody has ever said to me, I saw that flag. I knew about that flag. And now it's been sent to us from all over the world. Well, what's this? I knew the flag was tied in to the First Nations people. How I began to know that real quick. Jennifer and I were going into West Virginia for this revival. The weekend that we were going, they were going to put us up in a state park outside of Logan, West Virginia, that's called Chief Logan State Park. And I always look for the prophetic significance of where I'm going and why I'm going there. I go to a place that I go to for assignment or relationship. And so we were in West Virginia, and I was like, as soon as we pulled into the state park, and it's beautiful, mountains of West Virginia are amazing. And we pulled in there, and I said, God, why do you have me at Chief Logan? Well, I'm not going to go through and tell you the whole story about good old brother Chief Logan. But he was a Mohawk. He was like and in line with the chiefs of the early formation of the Iroquois Confederacy. Chief Logan in his day was known as a man of peace. The whole idea, as far as we could learn about where did the tree come from? And what could it possibly mean? We begin to learn that the Iroquois called it the tree of peace, as others have. The founding fathers referred to it as the tree of liberty, because they had to take what was not rightfully theirs in its origin, rename it in order to claim it as their own. Because we don't have the heart to be as one people, we're deceived in believing we can live divided as well as we can live as one. So I began to realize in this Chief Logan, he was a man of peace. So I began to track it. I began to realize he was a part of the Confederacy. Chief Logan was a Mohawk. And then I began to realize that Chief Logan, now watch this, he took the tradition of his fathers in the tree of peace, his fathers who had gone before him, he took that, and in West Virginia, Chief Logan came to a place where he was accused of a crime he did not commit, which was not uncommon in that day for First Nations people, nor is it uncommon today. It must stop.
Amen.
So Chief Logan in that time, when he was accused, he had to have some place to hide out. His own people would have killed him, and the government was looking for him to do the same. So Chief Logan found a resting place in a group of Moravians. Who honored the man and believed in him. Defended him to both sides and saw him restored to his own people in innocence. During the time, the Moravians revealed to Chief Logan that the real man of peace is God the Creator, holy, sovereign, eternal, forever, Creator, sovereign of heaven and earth. Sent to us his only begotten Son, who's the great man of peace, who gave his life for all of mankind. And so Chief Logan became ablaze with the fire of God. So I begin to realize that this is tied into the First Nations people. And then it was tied into the Iroquois Confederacy, the Seneca all the way to the Mohawk. Onondagas in the middle. Watch this. The Mohawk, which was the extreme eastern tribe of the Iroquois Confederacy, they were, watch this, the keepers of the eastern gate. Senecas were the western gate. Onondagas in the middle were the keepers of the fire. So here, they had this tree. They looked at the evergreen tree as a tree of covenant, tree of promise. They would often, when they entered into agreement, they would bury their hatchets or their weapons underneath the trees. That's where the term bury the hatchet comes from. History tells us many times that they would literally dig up the tree, bury the weapons beneath the roots of the tree, and then replant the tree. The First Nations people were serious about walking in peace as one. All right. So we begin to track, and we knew it was part of the Iroquois and the Confederacy and all of that. It was there. It's just too much. I'd have to go through the whole thing. And you don't want that. But, so about 3 weeks ago, I was in Western Kentucky, and I was going to teach one night just on the fly. And in the service came a man. I showed my friend Russell a picture of him, Chief Two Dog. He is a Mohawk. He is the leader, First Nations leader, over all of Kentucky, part of Missouri and Indiana as well. And so he wanted to come. He had never heard of the flag. And he wanted to come and hear the teaching. In the middle of that, he said his heart swelling up on the inside. And at the end of it, he came and had to spend time with me. He and I spent the time the next day. He asked me if I would come and plant on his ground an evergreen tree. So he and I went together, took a beautiful evergreen tree and planted it on